I'd like to welcome you. Okay, here we go. I'd like to welcome you all to the Working with Portrait webinar designed to support the Memory Book online yearbook program. Our goal this afternoon will be to focus on functions of the program associated with student portraits. Specifically, we will be reviewing printing class sheets for other teachers or parents or helpers to review and correct strategies for detecting duplicate images, correcting student names, categorizing students, and using the flow functions to create portrait pages. This webinar will be approximately 30, uh, 35 minutes. So let's go ahead and begin. Let's talk about printing class sheets. So we're going to log into the site right here, and then we're going to go to our image library. We're going to click Create Image Library. All right. So when we log into our image library, chances are it might look like this, or if you've already been in it, you might already have like a window open or something like that. Here we're going to go to our portraits, and to look at the subfolders in your portraits, this little arrow right here pointing at the word portrait, we're going to click on that. And here you can see the subfolders underneath portrait. Now we're going to click on one of these subfolders, and then we can see our classes right here. To get a class sheet, and this is something that can go to a teacher or this teacher right here. Take a look at it, make sure names are spelled right. That's the biggest one. Make sure all the students are in the correct class. Make sure portraits that are supposed to be used are used. Make sure that kids that are not supposed to be imaged in the yearbook, for whatever legal reasons or protective reasons, make sure their image is not put in there. And we'll show you how to do that here shortly. So to print off a class sheet, we're going to select the folder that we want. We're going to come up here to this preview button. If you hover over it, you'll say preview the selected categories images in a PDF. So we're going to click on this preview button. A PDF will be generated. And here we have the class list right here. And you can print this off, hand it to the teacher or helper or whoever it is that may be um, assisting you in making sure all these students are correct. And then they can underneath put like the correct spelling of the name. They could go in and mark off what student is not theirs or put the teacher's name, whatever they need to do. So now next, let's talk about editing the class list. So we're going to go to create, and then we're going to come down here to coverage report. And I'm going to show you some of the basic functions of the coverage report right here. So one of the things you can do in the coverage report is fix names without having to go from class to class to class. So you can sit with your list of names and just scroll down. You can click on like last name with the arrow pointing down. It will go from the last letter of the alphabet down to the first letter, or with the arrow pointing up, it'll go from the first letter of the alphabet down. So you can sort by last name, sort by grade, sort by homeroom, whatever it may be. So if we sort by last name and say this Emily, it's not a Y, it is, I don't know, IE. So as soon as I make this change here, that change is made in the image library. So whatever changes you make here in the coverage report to the name will be made in the image library. This way, again, you don't have to go from classroom to classroom to classroom or hunt down that one student. You could just look for them by name. One other thing that's important, there are some schools that want to make sure every kid, other than their portrait, is displayed at least one time in the book. To do that, you have a section right here, number of times in book. And you can click that, and it will let you know the number of times each student is in the book and what page they're on in this next column. So if you want to make sure every child is used at least once outside of their portrait, you can come here and look and see which, how many times they're used and in which page they're used on. All right, so let's go back to the image library and let's show a few things here. So say we've gotten back our image, our list, and we need to make some corrections. First off, we have a student, we'll say this one right here, that's not in this class. How do we move them out? Simply click on their image, click and hold, and you'll see a little ghost image appear. So as soon as we click and hold, that it is now selected, and you can drag it. Excuse me. You can now drag it to any one of these folders right here. You'll see the word move next to the number. And as soon as you let go, you'll see that number went to 37. If we go into the folder, the student is right there. Next, you may see something like this. You may see two of the same image. One is the original, the other one is the retake. So if we only need just one of the image, the other one we can tell the system don't use that image. So to say do not use, we're going to click on one and we're going to come up here to either tag name, or we can come to this little blue box right here, or this blue circle right here, click on it, click on details, use portrait. So we're going to click on this, and here we have the option of do not use portrait, do not use portrait, use no photo. We'll talk about use no photo here in a second. So we're going to click on do not use portrait because we're telling the system do not use this portrait. Do not flow it. Do not put it in the computer or in the yearbook. Do not do anything with it. We're going to say apply changes and click done. Now you'll get this little box right here that says do not use or don't use. They'll just let you know that the system will not use that photo. So it could, another thing could be a student whose image can't be in the yearbook for whatever reasons, whatever be legal reasons or whatever. Um, so here we have a student right here, say the student can't be used. So we're going to click on that little blue circle. Again, we could also click on tag name and get that right there. We're going to come up to details. Here we have use portrait. Click on this. We're going to say use no photo. So what this is going to do is use the default no photo. It will show you what it looks like here in a second. All right. So other things you can do if you need to edit or change the spelling of a student here, if you don't want to do it through the coverage report, all you have to do is click on a student's name, come up to tag name. To edit this name, all you have to do is click this little pencil, click continue. And let's say you want to drop that and go with JON for John. Click on save, done, and then that change takes effect. Now, if you have a student who doesn't have a photo, they arrive late, they arrive after photo time, later, maybe later on in the school year, and you need just a plain no photo because you don't have time to get a photo, or you just don't have a photo of them, but you want to make sure they get into the book. We're going to come down here to no photo, and you all should have a folder called no photo. In here is just some random no photos you can use. Now to use the no photo, first we're going to click on the one we want. We're going to come up to tag names, and this is the very important part right here. Is you're going to have to break this tag, and here's the reason why you're going to have to break it. So if we click on here to change the name, and let's say we're going to go with John Smith, and we click save and done. If you look, all these images are now, all these no photos are now John Smith. And that's because they've been tagged. When we upload them, they've all been tagged as first, last. And so we have to break that tag. We have to tell it to, no, we just want this one image to change on these no photos. So we're going to come back up here to tag. We're going to click this little circle right here with an X. We're going to remove that tag. This add button shows up. We're going to click on it and we're going to say it's Win Smith. And then we're going to hit save and then done. Now you'll see that it it's not there any longer. That's because the system puts everything in alphabetical order. Because we already have Smith, now it's going to move on to the first name. So that one we just did here is at the bottom. So anytime you change something here in the no photo and it disappears, it's just at the bottom. That's it. Or you could just click and hold, move that no photo into the class you want. Click on here, click on tag name, break that name. I'll break that tag, click on add, and we're going to add a new name. Click on save and done. And so there's our no photo for that student. All right, so next, and real quick, if for any reason you have a teacher in here and you need to move them to a staff folder, you can always just click and hold, move them to a staff folder. Sometimes the photographer will put teacher image in with the classroom. If you don't want that, you can just move them out or move them to a specific folder. So next, let's actually put some of these images actually on a page. So we're going to go over here to Plan, Page Ladder, and then we're just going to click on a page here. Now we're going to do one of two ways. The first way, we're going to show you how to actually build a flow element yourself, and then we will look at actually putting templates on there that already have flow elements associated with them. So we'll do both ways, so that way you can see both. And so to flow the images on here, first we're going to click on the flow tab here on the left. Then we're going to select one of these 6 options. The only real difference is where the name is located. So here we have one with the names on the top. Here we have the names to the right. We get names to the left on each one, names underneath, names to the right on each one. So we're going to select this one, the traditional names to the side. And I'm going to select this one right here because I'm going to show you both of these and show you two different ways of getting these set up so that you can use them. Now, this first one you'll see that has a lot of boxes. They're smaller, but there's a lot of boxes here. So to get these boxes more manageable, and what I mean by that is, let's come over here to categories first, and we're going to select the teacher. So here's the first teacher that we have right here. Next is name format, first, last. That's your first name, last name. Underneath that, we have 29 images. So that tells me that I have to have minimum of 29 boxes on here to get all these to flow. Now, with that being an odd number, chances are you're going to have 30 boxes. So you're going to have one left over. That 30th box, or that one that's not used, simply just gets shut off in a hidden status, and we'll show that here shortly. And then we'll worry about start and stop and the rest of this a little bit later. But here in red, it says we have 0 positions available. And that is because we haven't saved anything. Once I hit save, you'll see this change. That red has gone away, and now it says we have 56 available positions, way more than what we need. So let's get this trimmed down. So let's click on this flow element right here, and we're going to see a toolbar right up here open up. So if we click off of it, toolbar goes away, click on it, toolbar's right there. Starting from the left here, we have our font. So we can actually change the font of the text right here. If you have a certain style that you want or pre-made style, you can choose that here. We can also change the font size. If you want to do odd numbers, all you have to do is click inside, delete, type like 9 right here, and then you just click off or click on something else. Oh, excuse me, you have to click on there, 9, enter, and then it will change. Next is you can change the color of the text. So we could change it to orange. We could put an outline on them. You can also, yep. So you can change the color of the text if you want to. Next is you can actually add a stroke line around the boxes right here. So you can actually put a little nice little border on them. You can bold, italic, underline the names, change the way they look if you want them all capitalized. Okay, then next right here is probably the most important part and the one that you'll probably spend a little bit of time in, and that's your flow options. So we're going to click this right here. First off, what we're going to do is we're going to uncheck automatic. And the reason is with automatic still selected, it's going to want to retain that shape that's currently in, the total height and the total width. So those boxes are going to change in order to maintain the total height and total width of the current flow element. So if I reduce the number of rows, see how tall those boxes are getting? And that's because it wants to retain that shape. So if I undo automatic and I do that, see now they're going away. I'm going to get in the smaller box, so now I can actually move this box if I need to move this box. All right, so now if I hit save, right here it will actually update the number of total available positions. So we're at 28, we need 29, so we need at least one more row. And let's go one less column because may not need that column right there. There we go. There's our 30 available positions. And see that we still have some blank space right here. Um, we could move that over and just put some clip art right there, or we could come down to here to width and height, and we could make them, well, let's see, let's move that over here, and we could make it just a little bit wider. Now you're going to see that this little warning's coming up saying, whoa, I can't make it any wider than that. So we can just do this like a little bit at a time. We're going to click right here where the 0 is. We're going to change that 0 to a 5. So we can make that just a little bit wider here. And we're going to change that height. So let's change that 3 to a 5. We can make it just a little bit taller. Maybe we can change that to an 8. There we go. And let's change that 5 into a 7. There we go. And you can always tweak it just a little bit more. There we are. Spacing right here, we have horizontal spacing. That's the spacing between the columns. So we want to space those columns out. We can do that. And then the vertical is the rows. So we can actually click that and actually separate the space between the rows. The width, the name width is how much room you want with the names. If you know you're going to have longer names, you could probably bump it up to an 11. You'll be fine. Different shapes. So if you want diamonds, hexagon, with a square, you can round off. The edges, I would say probably no more than 3 to 5, depending on the sizes of the boxes. Next, under here, we have name options. Now, now this is important for a couple of reasons. If you have the box here, right here, and you have it set, you have it ready to go, but you also want another one on the other page. So instead of reinventing the wheel and redoing everything you just did, we're going to come up here to the edge, to the end of the toolbar over here. This first one's called duplicate. So if I hit duplicate, then I just created the flow element that I just made. So I can move that over here. Now the problem is the names are on the wrong side. To fix that, we're going to go back up to flow options. So we're going to come back down here to name options. Then name positioning. Names on left horizontal. So we're going to click this down arrow. And oh, here we go. Names on right horizontal. We're going to click that. And there we go. Names are now on the right. So we have names on the left, names on the right. Also under here, you can do, if you want to include the names. If you don't want to include the names at all, just click no and just takes the names right out. So you don't have to include names. All right, so we have names on left, names on right, and I'm actually going to get rid of this. So now that we have everything set, ready to go, we have everything the way we want it. We're going to come down here, make sure we have the right class, first, last, 29 images. We're going to save it real quick. Perfect. Start and stop. Start on page 2. We're going to stop on page 2. That's what this start and stop means. It's what page do you want to start their flow on? What page do you want to stop your flow on? We have 30 available positions. Don't worry about this last box. You'll actually see it disappear. Though it's not gone, it's just in a hidden state. We're going to come down here to the flow, this little purple button, and we're going to click on flow. And there we go. Your images are on there. The names are on there. Now, remember, we had that one student. We had that one student that, for whatever reason, could not have their picture in the paper. Well, picture in the yearbook. So here is the default no photo available. This is what the system has. Now, if you want to use a no photo, you're more than free to use a no photo if you want to, just like the one right here. So if you want to stay consistent with your no photos, you can do that. But this right here is the system's default no photo available. For any reason you need to, maybe you want to change the color of the names, or you chose a background that names just don't look good on them, or something like that. It's just like, oh, I just can't look at that. Um, right next to the full button is reset. All you have to do is click on reset. And then right here, you can just come back up, maybe change the names right there. And I'm going to do this on purpose. Oh, here. Let me move it up just a little bit. There we go. And then anytime you make a change, just hit save. There we go. That's what I want to do. Now, if you hit save and you get these red X's right here, that just means that the text is larger than the box that it's in. That means there's more text than the box can handle. To fix that, we're going to reset, click on the box, come back up here. Instead of 14, let's go 13. Enter. Flow, you'll get this little pop-up that says, whoa, before you flow, you got to save. So we're going to save. Okay, we'll see that we're still too much. So we're going to come back up here, and we know for a fact 12 is the highest we can go. Flow, save, and there we go. So for this instance, the 12 font is the highest it will go. So there we go. For any reason you have another student show up in this class and you need to add them, it's really easy to do that. Once you have their picture in here, tagged, ready to go, click on reset, double click on one of these blue boxes. Here's that one box that's in that hidden state. So all you have to do is just click this little eye. So just click this little eye to bring it back from hidden. See, here it's hidden, here it's not hidden. And then once you do that, you can hit save, and then that box is now back from that hidden state. So then you can go back, flow your other student in there, and they'll be in there in the flow. All right, so real quick on this one, the difference between this one and this one right here. This one is the boxes are a lot larger, so you may have to go in and mess instead of the row and height on the other one. On this one, you'll have to mess with the width and height. So you may have to um, shrink those down before you can start adding rows and columns. So that's one thing in this vertical right here, you may need to uh, shrink that up before you can start adding additional ones. So that's the only difference between some of these. So just look at what the sizes of the box, and that will tell you kind of what you're going to need to do to alter them. All right, so next, make sure I have all my T's dotted, my I's crossed here. Okay. Next, let's talk about portraits here. I'll try to get to it really quick. It's very, very simple. Okay, so under designs, we're going to come up here, and here you'll have like custom, page surfer, click and go, advertising, and portrait. So we're going to click on portrait. We have all portraits, so you can sit there and look at all these all you want, or you can look at these like 8x9 pica. That's the sizes of the box. So that's the sizes of the box there when they're talking about pica. Or you could come down here and let's say, well, I know my biggest class is 30 people. So I can click on 21 to 30 people. And then here are all the templates that will accommodate class sizes from 21 to 30. So if you see one that you like, oh, that looks nice, click and hold, let go, click on yes, and there you go. Let's say if you need one over here, you can click and hold, drop it on there, and there you go. Your image frame, your flow elements are already on there, ready to go. So we can go back to flow and we can click on save. Here that says 21. So if we need to go to this next page, we can come up to stop on page 3, click on flow, and there you go. It just flows over to the next page. All right. Make sure that's everything. Okay, so some of the most important things is after you're done flowing, is you want to make sure all the kids are on there, all the students in the class, simply by just scrolling down. If you see this little circle with an X, that means they're flowed. If you take it off, see that circle with an X is gone. Now it's back. It's very important to scroll all the way to the very bottom. Scroll all the way down. The reason is if a student is not on the pages here, chances are they're at the very bottom. There have been times where we review the books. I look at the books myself to make sure everything looks good, and I guarantee there is a child that was left off. Um, and you don't want to hear it from parents that one child was left off. Um, make sure that the names are spelled correctly. Make sure the names are associated with the correct child. That's a big one that we look for. Make sure that you don't have John Smith on 7 different children. So definitely check that stuff out before, right after you flow. Make sure everything looks good. All right. So at this time, we'll go ahead and open it up to questions. So if you have any questions or you need something explained a little bit more, you can either put it in the chat or you can go ahead and take yourself off mute and ask your question.
I actually have can you hear me? Hello? Are you able to hear me?
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Let's see.
Funny, because I can hear you, but I don't think he can hear us.
Let's see. Just a minute. I can't hear you. Just make sure. Uh, there we go. Okay, now try.
I have a question. Can you hear me? Hello?
Let's see. Yeah, no. You can't put it in chat. Hmm. Okay, now try.
Can you hear me?
Hey, there we go. You know what helps is there's a volume control on the headset, and if you turn it up,
Okay. So my first time using this yearbook program here. So I'm a little bit starting from scratch. How do you even import the portraits into the image library?
so there's two different ways of doing it. You can send it to us, and then we can upload it for you. That's what these were right here. Right before I started, I went in and I uploaded all these myself.
Okay.
That way, they're already tagged with the image on there, and with the name already on there, everything's ready to go. The next way is you can come up here to portrait, create your class. Click OK, and then you can sit there and upload your images and tag every single student yourself.
Okay. Second question is is there a way to import data from like class rosters, like for the names and stuff like that?
For something like that, no.
So is that all manually typed in into this program then?
Um, yeah, so you'll have to manually type in all the names and everything. I'm trying to look. No. So yeah,
There's
you would
no.
have to manually type in the student's name, um, any other pertinent information you would want. Honestly, the only thing that's are required is first name, last name. Done. That's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to add in their middle name, their grade, student. You don't have to enter all that information. Just first name, last name. That's all the system cares about.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Anyone else have a question?
Yes, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My question is, I already upload some portrait picture, but to activity. So is there any way I can move those picture to portrait?
Yes. So let's say right here, we have a folder right here that is accidentally have portrait pictures set up right here. So all you have to do is click and hold
Mm-hmm.
the folder right here,
Yes.
move that up,
Mm-hmm.
and then highlight the word portrait, and then just let it go.
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll
Oh,
see that folder right there.
okay. That's good. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. And those should
Um,
all, yep, they're all tagged.
did you have, I have another quick question.
Okay.
Um, can you permanently delete a picture, or is it just that you have to do that hide thing?
Um, you can if you have an image, like you just flat out are not going to use this image, you can click on delete right here. You, the advisor, are the only one that can delete that photo.
And you have
Uh,
to be in what, mm,
yeah,
in
so
the,
in
right?
the image library, yeah, you have to be in the image library right here. Just click on the image and click on delete, and then you can delete that photo. Then it's gone from your side. For whatever reason you delete the wrong photo, you could just call in and say, oops, I deleted the wrong photo. I can go back in. I have superpowers. I can go back in and actually return that image. So it's not permanently gone, it's just temporarily gone. It would be gone from your end, but on my end, I can go back in and uh, restore that photo just in case something happened, you deleted the wrong one.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any more questions, even if it's not about portraits? All right, I'm going to read this outro here real quick. I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon. The demonstrations of the functions related to the creation of portrait pages should eliminate some of the trial and error that can occur when working with a yearbook. Printing portrait sheets and editing classes ahead of time should result in better accuracy on some of the most important pages of a book. Feel free to join us Thursday as we look at creation of activity and candid pages. I want to thank you all very much for joining us today. Hopefully, everything here made flowing in your portraits a little bit easier, a little more knowledgeable on that. So, um, like I said, Thursday we'll be looking at portrait pages. Um, these are your candid pages. Excuse me, your activity pages, your candid pages. These are the ones like the book fair, field day, stuff like that. So we'll be looking at how to get those on there, how to edit photos, how to make them look maybe a little bit better, adding borders, adding a little flair to them, making those pages look a little more exciting, and as well as adding clip art and things like that. So definitely join us then, and we'll talk about that and all that. So once again, I thank you all very much for tuning in.